A lot of you have been wondering whether this is the right time to start buying back Zilliqa, because obviously a lot of you really want to accumulate and buy back Zilliqa in hopes for making quite a lot of money in the future. But I'm just here to warn you, and in today's episode we are going to do a little bit of technical analysis as far as Zilliqa is concerned. So nope, now is not the right time to buy back, because we have a very high probability of the price of Zilliqa and a lot of other cryptocurrencies dropping a whole lot, let's say about 20 to 30%. So if you start buying right now, you are going to be leaving money on the table. So to all the people who really want to buy back Zilliqa right now, I understand you want to dollar cost average, but of course you can do it much smarter, and just by practicing a little bit of patience, you're obviously going to get more money, or rather more Zilliqa for your money. So anyway, I go by the name of Muna. I have been sick for the past few days. I had a little bit of an accident. I was playing football and then somebody just gave me a sliding tackle, and I had to go to the hospital. So right now I can't really walk because I have a plaster of Paris. So yeah, this is one of the reasons why I didn't update you guys, but everything is all good. We are ready to roll. So without further ado, let's look at Zilliqa dollar USD on Bitfinex here. So just like I told you, right, you obviously heard me talking about getting to buy around this price level, and right now we are drawing closer to that particular price point, and I'm really thinking that we are obviously going to crack this level of support right over here, and we're going to drop slightly below 1 cent. So that is obviously going to be a very good way to buy back. But obviously we had like a little bit of a bounce back. We obviously experienced a little bit of a bounce back right over here. We ended up bouncing back off of the first level of resistance that obviously turned into support. So previous resistance turns into support. So this was obviously the previous resistance from way back. So obviously we ended up bouncing back off of this area, and then we are going to the top right over here, and it seems we are finding a little bit of resistance right over here, because this was the previous support from way back. So in case we end up going to the upside, right, and obviously if this happens, if we end up trending to the upside, I'm sure a lot of people who got stuck in the trades, because a lot of you were telling me that you really got stuck in the trades, so I would advise you to well, it depends on what type of trader you are and what your mentality is. Let's say you FOMO'd around this area, and then the price of Zilliqa went to the bottom, and now you're panicking, right? So obviously when we get to come back to these levels, obviously getting to get out and then buying back, hopefully when the price of Zilliqa drops down, is going to be like a better play. So it just depends on your plan. If you can really stomach the price of Zilliqa dropping as low as below 1 cent, then that's pretty fine. If you can't really stomach, or rather stand that happening, then you should obviously break even or even sell slightly higher if we do go above that particular threshold. So it just depends on what type of trader you are and what your plans are and what your levels of stress are willing to handle, because when things go bad, a lot of people can't really get to withstand the pressure of seeing the price going and just their portfolio going down. So just like I told you all these months, right, all these weeks, I am waiting for the price of Zilliqa to drop below 1 cent, and then I am going to be buying. So if you take a look at the weekly and all the other indicators, right, the MACD, the volume zone oscillator, all the oscillators right now are overbought. So we obviously need to come back to these oversold areas, and then we are going to be definitely good to go. So ladies and gentlemen, please be extremely patient. Do not worry, there's going to be plenty of opportunities to be buying back. So the MACD, as you can see, running out of momentum. I have been talking about this and nothing has changed since the last time that we spoke. So just like I told you, when it comes to trading, you do not even need to day trade or even be obsessed with the cryptocurrency charts, because these things take time, and everybody has got 5 minutes of their lives, or rather of their days, to check up on what's happening and make informed decisions. So obviously in comparison to BTC, right, because obviously alternative cryptocurrencies depend on Bitcoin. Like for example, yesterday I did put in a little bit of a long, which I closed right around this area, around 9,198, and I made a little bit of a profit there. And as soon as Bitcoin bounced back, right, obviously we saw Zilliqa doing the same. But when it comes to alternative cryptocurrencies, they are a little bit more exaggerated. If Bitcoin sort of bounces by a factor of of about 3 to 5%, right? So that was a factor of about 4% right over there. If Bitcoin has a 4% retracement, then a lot of alternative cryptocurrencies usually go by, I don't know, like 6 to 10%. So this is one of the reasons why we also experience this bounce back on Zilliqa. So this doesn't really mean that there are bulls coming in as far as Zilliqa is concerned. There are wells accumulating. No. This was simply a simple retracement, and this is obviously going to continue the downward trajectory as the market continues to develop. So obviously, getting back to Bitcoin, right, we are experiencing the last point of supply according to the Wyckoff theory. So I obviously put in a little bit of a short right over here as soon as I closed my long. And just like I told you last week, right, if you do remember what we talked about last week, right, I am anticipating the price of Bitcoin to come and have a retest along this slanting sort of resistance right over here, because we had that point of contact, and we also had this one, and we also had that one. So we are obviously most likely going to have like a third attempt, and this is one of the reasons why I am actually in a short position from here. And I'm also going to be adding more short positions to this area, to around 9,560, but my trade is going to accommodate short dollar cost averaging to 11,500. You get what I'm saying? Because let's say we have like one of those weird moments where the price of Bitcoin just pumps to the upside, right? So I also have that margin of error. So this is one of the reasons why I'm going to be putting in my short from this area, 9,200, all the way to about 11,500. Okay, this is just a threshold for me to sort of minimize getting liquidated or getting disappointed or getting taken out of my trades, because I need to allocate that particular error, or rather room for error. So this is one of the reasons why when it comes to trading, right, you shouldn't be sure, because you can't really catch the top or the bottom. So this is one of the reasons why I have a range, a threshold from about 9,200 all the way to 11,500. I'm just going to be dollar cost averaging my short, because by the end of the day, I know that the price of Bitcoin is obviously going to come back down to the, 8,500, 7,500, even 6,000, 500 US dollar level. So if you take a look at the distance that we have, right, obviously between the current price that we have all the way to about 6,500, that's like a 30, or rather, 15 to 30% price difference. And that can really mean a lot of profit as far as trading is concerned, because I trade on BitMEX, I do cross trading, and when it comes to cross trading, right, I know it is very dangerous, but it just depends on your margin portfolio, on the allocation that you have and the funding that you have. So it's always about minimizing the portfolio that you have. Let's say, for example, you have, I don't know, let me just pick a random number, right? Let's say you've got 1 million US dollars, and then you are trading with leverage using $100 per day. Obviously, in order for your account to be depleted, the price has to, I don't know, go by more than 3,000% in order for that to happen. So obviously, like that, you've got like better risk management. So it's all about risk management. Okay, so it doesn't really matter whether I'm using cross, isolated, plus all the regular, type of trading methodologies. It's all about risk management. Whenever you have whatever is in your portfolio, right, just make sure you use less than 1/10 to trade that, especially with leverage, so that you can always have funding in your portfolio. But anyway, let me not confuse you with all that nonsense. I'm sure you guys don't even understand. So more of the story is Bitcoin is obviously going to have a very huge retracement. As you can see here, we are almost having a bearish cross on the MACD, the moving average, converges, diverges, situation. Obviously, last time that we had this particular situation was on 2nd March. And obviously, you guys remember what happened. We had this crazy dump right over here. So I'm not really thinking that we're going to have like a dramatic drop like we did in March. This is highly unlikely. But I really think that we are going to have like a significant, drop, something which is going to be more than 10%, or even 20% eventually, till we sort of start getting momentum to propel to the upside and obviously crash the previous all-time high. So obviously, looking at other things, you already know the business. Everything is overbought right now, and we just need to have some sort of reset in terms of the oscillators and just these different indicators as well. So obviously, just like I told you, right, we might have a situation where we have a slight pump. Okay, so whenever that happens, do you see these wicked, nasty weeks, right? So I'm obviously looking forward to us going to that particular level, or even above that level. So whatever happens, I'm obviously going to be dollar cost averaging my short, and then I'm going to be very good to go. So without further ado, I think I don't even have to repeat myself like a broken record. As far as Zilliqa is concerned, yes, it's going to make a lot of people millionaires, but it is what it is. The market just has to do its thing. Markets are made up of cycles, and right now we are experiencing a little bit of a downturn. And just because we had a little bit of a bounce back here, it doesn't really mean that the whales are back, because these cryptocurrency markets are directly correlated with everything. Altcoins depend on Bitcoin. Bitcoin depends on the stock market. If you take a look at what's been happening on the stock market, right, you guys should be more than afraid. If you take a look at what's really happening like in the world as far as the coronavirus is concerned, as far as we're opening back, the economy, especially in the United States of America, obviously a lot of states are beginning to reverse their decisions. So these are obviously scary moments as far as the economy is concerned, and that could really affect Bitcoin. If Bitcoin is affected, alternative cryptocurrencies, including Zilliqa, might be affected as well. But this is very good news. This is very good news due to the fact that we are going to be able to scoop up a lot of these great alternative cryptocurrencies such as Zilliqa at very extreme cheap prices. So please, ladies and gentlemen, you have to embrace corrections and just cheaper prices, because cheaper prices means the higher probability that you have, or rather you are getting another opportunity to increase the potential for you to make much more money, because you are going to be buying these cryptocurrencies at extremely cheap prices. The cheaper they get, the more you accumulate. During the next bull run, you are going to make tremendous amount of money. So you should always look forward to market corrections. Of course, if you did the wrong thing, if you bought at the very top, you would be very devastated if the price continues going down. But this is one of the reasons why Beyond 10x, aka Muna, is here to be telling you what to do. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Whatever you do, please do your own due diligence. But I always try to look out for my community, to look out for my people, and just give them a heads up on what's happening. We keep it real. We keep it very rational and level-headed around these areas. So anyway, talk to you a little bit later. Hopefully I'll be back tomorrow with another banger, and I just wanted to give you like a little bit of technical analysis, because by the end of the day, that's all that matters. I don't really like the fundamental bull crap and just talking about updates, partnerships, and all that bull junk. I don't really want to talk about that. That's boring. All right, so take care, be good, God bless you.